sit down at the computer. I've chosen my hero for the essay, which is going to be Hamlet. And now I sit down and I go, okay, what do I do? Have you ever done that before? I do it all the time. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the very first steps to do when writing this essay. Number one, I've got to find the film, the script, the film script, all the texts for my essay, including any study guides. So I'm going to list them on EasyBib. As you can see, I created a new citation list for Hamlet. I open that, and everything that I add will go into this correct folder. With my EasyBib site created, then I can go over here and I want to just go over this Spark Notes with you. And I'm going to add this and, of course, create the citation before I do anything else. You know me, before I do anything, I'm going to create that citation. So I'm just going to go to a quick summary overview just to let you know a minute. And this is going to take me 60 seconds to let you know about our Hamlet. Hamlet is a little prince. His dad was King Hamlet. Now, why Hamlet had only the name Hamlet, I don't know. Maybe it was George Hamlet, but I don't know. He just went by Hamlet. Well, Hamlet's walking around one day and he is visited by the ghost. And the ghost tells him that the man who inherited the throne after his dad, King Hamlet, died, Claudius, well, Claudius was married now to Queen Gertrude, who is Hamlet's mother. Well, come find out, Claudius actually is the one who killed Hamlet and killed his father. So what do you think about that? So it goes on and on and on. And then later on, Polonius is just a pompous little Lord Chamberlain. He says, you know what, Hamlet must be in love with my daughter Ophelia. Well, Hamlet was way too busy worried about avenging his father's death, and he didn't love Ophelia, and on she goes. She was crazy about him, of course. And then the plot goes on, and he tells her to just go get thee to a nunnery, which means just go kill yourself, which is what she does. So then little actors come through, and all of this plot thickens to where Claudius is uncovered as the murderer of Prince Hamlet's father. Everybody dies. It's all just tragic. So that's the quick tour of our Hamlet. Now it's time for me to find the texts, because I want to use not only the stage play, but I want to use the film version because I love this film version. So here's what I do. At first, I'm going to use the 1990 film with Mel Gibson. So I go over here, and remember I type in those magic words, free PDF, to find that film script. Well, I look through here, and here's what they have to offer for that 1990 script. This is from Drew's Scriptorama. This is the 1990 film. Look at this, y'all. This is going to be, I can't use this. Look at that script. That's goofy. So I think, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to use the 1990 adaptation because I simply can't find the script. I spent a good amount of time looking for that script. It just doesn't exist. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what's the other thing that I might do? I go over to Amazon Prime Video and I find Hamlet from 1996 with Kenneth Branagh, which is a wonderful production. And I think, you know what? Maybe I'll use this one. I can rent it for $2.99. Now, some of you may want to, that may be a challenge, and so some of you may want to try to find a free streaming version, but for my purposes, I can do this. Okay, so, of course, I'm going to go right up here, and I'm going to try to cite this particular version and put that in EasyBib. So I go ahead and I copy this, and I go over to EasyBib. And what I want to do is make sure that I know the name of the director. So I'm going to make sure that I know this name. I'm going to go over to EasyBib, and you can see where I've started my citation. There it is, and it's the author. The author is the author of the play, but not the maker of the movie. So I'm going to add a contributor, and this time I'm going to put down the director. Okay, so as you can see in the drop-down menu for the citation, I selected Film Online Video, and it's online. It was published as a film, then online. The film title is Hamlet. The director is Kenneth Branagh. The writer is William Shakespeare, and the screenwriter is Kenneth Branagh. And the way that I found that extra information is I went over to IMDb, which is an international movie database, and I typed in Hamlet 1996, and there is that information that I needed for the credits. And of course, I will take this IMDb, and I'll go over here to EasyBib, and I'll add that as well. So now I don't care about the country. I don't care the year published, 1996. And then it was on Amazon, Dover Publications, 1996. And complete the citation. So I've added those citations for the IMDb posting so I could see who created the movie. I have the film itself, and I have the Spark Notes. Now I need to find the actual script. Remember, just real quick, let me just show you real quick, because remember, if I'm citing a movie, I want to click one of these under More. There are all kinds of other things that will give you a template for those different kinds of things. So that's how I got that. Okay, now let's go find the script. Once again, I Googled free script, and this time, instead of the screenplay, I'm going to get the actual stage play. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to add it to EasyBib. I'll be right back. Then I found that script from the 1996 version by simply typing in free PDF script. And I'm going to add that also to EasyBib. I'll just let you watch me do this one real quick, just because now this one is just from a website. So we're going to do it like this. We'll type in that, paste in the URL, search for it. Give it a minute. Hope to goodness it finds it. It did. If it didn't, we just would do it manually. We're going to continue, and we're going to fill out any of these little blocks that need work. Who wrote this? That's right, William Shakespeare. Okay. So for this script, I have the author, William Shakespeare. Then it doesn't give me a drop-down menu option for a screenplay. So I'm just putting down author, and then I'm putting down screenplay by Kenneth. It'll come out right, I hope. Let's see what it looks like. You can manipulate some of these little tools if you need to. Okay, William Shakespeare and screenplay by. Look how nice that looks. Look how that worked. That was great. Okay, all my citations are done now. Okay, now I'm going to look over the list of hero archetypes. Nothing more, just look them over. Maximum of 5 minutes. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's the hero archetype essay information. Scroll down here to the hero archetype. I'm just going to look these over just to see what I see. I'm not going to spend time. I'm just going to look over all of these and see what I see. Now, I'm not going to have all those things marked, but I'm, highlighted or anything. I'm just going to look. Okay. All right. Looked it over. Nice. Okay. Now, what do I do next? Oh, now I get to watch the film finally and read the play. And that's all it tells me to do is just watch the film. Don't have to stop. Don't have to pause. Don't have to do anything other than just watch the film. So I'm going to go over here to Amazon. I'm going to watch that movie. If I'm doing a show from Netflix and I'm getting the pilot, I'll go and I'll watch that. I'm just going to relax, make myself a lovely cup of tea, and just enjoy watching the movie. Now, after I've done that, I'm going to look back over the hero archetypes, and this time I'm going to highlight anything that you see that relates to the character. And then we're going to find examples. So let's do that first. Let's go over here. I'm not even looking at these titles. Okay, he is of royal birth. Okay, so there you go. So I highlighted the things on here that my hero relates to. He's of royal birth. He's a prince. Noble character. He has one fatal flaw. And his fatal flaw, our poor Hamlet, is that he just takes things way too personally. He's just a little bit of a rattle, to tell you the truth. He just took it all so hard, and he's following the dictates of a ghost, and he's making decisions based on his own little world view of what is right and wrong in the world. The hero fights for his own honor and the honor of his father, and his deeds belong to the community after his death. So they're going to long live to tell this tale. So he's a classic hero. But look down here, y'all. He's also just as tragic as he can be. My goodness, everybody dies. Person of noble birth. Okay, so these qualities apply also. And I'm looking down here through the other things. He's not medieval, and he's not a romantic hero because the whole Ophelia situation, and he really isn't passionate about this. It's that he wants to avenge. He's like the family nobility thing. He's not a modern anti-hero. He's not a Byronic hero. A Byronic hero is super conceited and full of himself and all that stuff. That Hamlet is not that. Although I love Byronic heroes, but he's just not. He's not on a quest. He's on a mission. And he's on a mission to avenge his father's death. So we can't say that he's a Homeric hero. He's not leaving home to go on a quest. Even in that movie Dumb and Dumber, they're on a quest. Those two characters are leaving town. They're going out. They're going on a quest to try to find something. Our Hamlet is not doing that. Dystopian hero. No, that's really more for Superman, things like that. Oh, lots of things, but not him. Not Hamlet. Satiric. No, he's not satiric. He's not a hedonist hero. He just has it so wrong. Okay, so now we know that Hamlet is a classical tragic hero. I now know what kind of hero he is, and I am ready to begin going through the film and finding examples of this. So here's what I'm going to do, and you'll be able to open this up as a Word doc, so you can do this too. I'm going to put down what I'm doing here, because I'm getting ready to move on to the outlining portion. In preparation for that, I have labeled. I'm getting ready to do my little outline, my template here. So, for my little legend over here, I equals introduction, C equals conclusion. We have to do CL here, don't we? CL equals classical, and T equals tragic. So going back over here to my list that I had before, examples of Hamlet as a classical hero will go in one part of the essay. Examples of Hamlet as a tragic hero will go in the next section of the essay. Therefore, I will prove that he is both a classical and a tragic hero. Back over here to my thing, my grid. Now I'm going to watch the film again. This time I'm going to pause when something happens, and I'm going to write down in the description what it is that happened and where that goes. I'm going to write down an example. I'll be right back. So I'm going to go through the film, and I'm going to go through the script. I'm having the script open and I have the film started. This is going to take me some time because I'm going to pause when I find examples from from the script. And it's either going to be an example of over here in the classic ideas or down here in the tragic hero. So over here I go and I find these. At timestamp 2 minutes 25 seconds, Horatio says, "But to recover of us by strong hand and terms compulsory for those foresaid lands, so his father lost." So his father had lost his lands. That's going to go in the conclusion. Why is that going to go in the conclusion? Because I'm going to wrap up how the whole thing was foreshadowed by Hamlet's friend Horatio. And I'm not going to do that until the end of the essay. Do you see how by doing this, I have the whole essay planned out before I ever have to sit down and just start writing? Isn't that fantastic? Then on page 47 of the actual script, which is very easy for me to find, I can find things, I can read through the script, I see the page numbers, very easy to copy any of this dialogue and bring it back over here to what I'm doing. So page 47, Ophelia, our poor darling Ophelia. She says, my lord, he hath, she's talking about Hamlet. And so what I would do here is I would, instead of he, I would do in brackets because she's talking about Hamlet. There we go. Hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion. Well, he didn't, but she thinks he did. And then Polonius, who's a little bit of a whippersnapper, says, I fashion, you may call it. Go to, and hath given countenance his speech, my lord, with almost heaven, the holy vows in heaven. Polonius is leading her on. He's telling her that Hamlet loves her when he doesn't. And that is part of the tragic qualities of Hamlet. And so Polonius is helping bring out the fatal flaw in Hamlet, which is that our Hamlet just takes the world way too seriously and believes things that aren't necessarily true. And all that information with the ghost, right here, he is fated by the ghost to doom and destruction and great suffering. Okay? Now, sometimes I can simply describe the scene rather than going through and copying or writing down what the dialogue was. So 3:56 in the film, 3 minutes and 56 seconds into the film, in this scene, all turns to dark earth tones as Hamlet vows to avenge his father's death. He has not asked anyone to validate the ghost's words, but is making decisions based on the directions of a specter. And that is tragic. And I'm going to go through the whole thing like this, and I'm going to continue to mark things down. I'm going to need some quotes for the introduction. I'm going to end up with far more information than I'm going to possibly need, but I'm going to go do this, and that way I won't have to come back and do it again. Once I have finished this process, I don't ever have to go back to the film or the script again. I'll have everything I need for this. So that is how I begin this essay. And I want to do that before I get started on the proposal. Isn't this exciting? You're being all scholarly and brilliant. Move on from here to how to handle all of this information and where to put it. Okay.